Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In this episode we are going to create a ticker animation component, or this animated number component. We are going to take a look at how we can create it using Moti, which is powered by React Native Reanimated. And last, I'm gonna show you a small trick in order to calculate the font size, because from time to time, if the number is too big, it's not going to fit into a single line, and we are going to do some calculations. Without further ado, let's jump into VSCode and start creating this animated component, shall we? Alrighty, so we are in VSCode here. I've created a project using Expo. I have installed React Native Reanimated and Moti, which are the packages that we are going to be using in this tutorial. And the first thing I would like to approach is how you can actually animate this one. Right, so the sticker component, or the animated number component, is going to receive some number, right? It's, let's say, 1000. Well, initially each individual character within that number should be on its own component, and we first need to figure it out what number it is based on which index. And for each individual character we are going to render a vertical list from 0 to 9, and let's say that it's going to start with number 2, so we know that we need to translate this entire vertical list to number 2. So that's the whole plan and how this animation is actually working. So let's start by receiving this value as a number, and what we can do with it, well, splitted number, splitted value is going to be the value to string, and then we are going to split it. So we are going to receive each individual number on its own cell. And with this in mind, we can actually create here another view, and we are going to iterate over the split view, map, and then we are going to get the number, return some text, right? So this is the text that we are going to render when this split value is going to happen. And it's complaining because there is no initial value for it, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 8, and 5. So we can come to this view and apply the style, flex, direction, row, and then we are going to say flex, wrap, wrap. Right? So we have this beautiful text here. And the beauty about it is that now we know that 1, it's, let's say, index 1. So basically each individual number is going to reference also the index, because on this particular cell we cannot have numbers bigger than 9 or smaller than 0. So the number itself is going to give us the index where to position that vertical list. So let's create that vertical list and then pass the actual number to it, right? So instead of displaying here the text, I'll say, I have a ticker list. And the ticker list is going to receive the number as a number. And let's create this function here. Ticker list receive some properties, so ticker list props, and it's going to render some text. So text, and I'll say number, and the number is here. Type the number as a string. So nothing should change, right? Of course, TypeScript now it's complaining, so let's pass a key as a number, and index. Okay, so hit refresh, nothing should change, but now we have actually another component that we're rendering. And instead of just purely display this text, what we can do is this vertical list. So let's create here an array that's going to have an array, I would like 10 numbers, get the keys. So this is going to return 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 as an array, and we can iterate over it, display it as a vertical, all the numbers within this array, and based on the number we will know, hey, you need to translate y the font size multiplied by the number itself. So we can move this vertical list to the point where it's saying 2 or 3 or whatever the number is inside that cell. So let's do that. First, I would like to have a view, and inside this view I'm going to iterate over the numbers, and for each individual one I am going to return a tick and pass the number. This component doesn't exist, so let's create that. So function tick, it's actually a component that's going to extend the text properties and is going to return the children and whatever, right? So it's basically a text. Props, it's text props, return a text. I'm going to actually get the children and the rest children here and rest of the props, right? The reason why I'm doing this is because later I would like to style it, and this tick component or each individual number, I'm going to reuse it later. So that's the whole reason why I'm using this tick component here. So this tick component, and instead of passing the number, I'm just rendering as a children, so number, and of course this is going to also complain, so number and index. Okay, cool. So everything is working now. The idea here is that I would like to create this vertical list. I would like to position inside another view that's only going to take the space of one individual character, and the rest is going to be overflow hidden. So in this way, I'm not going to display all the numbers, but rather only the one that's active. So let's do that now. I'll have here a view, okay? And this container is going to be height is going to be, let's say, 50, and let's give it a background just to make it visible on the screen for now, okay? And now with this height, I actually need to pass it as a font size. So if we go back to the ticker component, we can pass the value, but we can also pass a particular font size. So let's say font size, it's 50, right? And also type this font size, it's a number, okay? So for now it's 50 as a default value, and we can also make it optional. So with this font size, we can also pass it down to the ticker list. So I'll say font size is font size. Now go back to ticker list, extend this font size, add it as a TypeScript here, so number. So now we can say, you know, the font size is going to be font size. So if we extend also the styles of the tick, so font size is going to be font size, you see now we starting to take some shape, right? And also don't forget the line height of font size multiplied by 1.1. Okay, so now everything is aligned. Another cool thing about React Native text in particular is that we have access to something called fontVariant, and more particular tabular-nums, which means that this tabular-nums is going to try to style each individual character in such a way that's going to be monospaced. So basically each individual character is going to take the same width as the space. So in this way we are not going to have layout shifts, which is good to know. So hit save, nothing should change, right? But now the thing is that we can add an overflow hidden, right? Which is amazing. Now what we can do with it? Well, if we come back to the ticker component, we actually have split the value. We have a split value here, a split value, right? So we have the number itself, and we are sending it to the ticker list, and this number is actually a string, which is you know. So what we can do is make it an integer. So we can parse this as an integer and go back and modify the types of these ticker list props and to be a number. And now we have a number, and this number is actually the actual index of the position inside this vertical list. So if I go back actually, and for now just comment out this overflow hidden just to make everything visible. What we can do here inside this vertical, RGBA is 0, 250, 0, and 1. So this is 0.5, sorry. So this is the entire vertical list. What we can say is that you can translate Y to the font size multiplied by 1.1, because this is the height of the cell, multiplied by the number itself. So if we go here to say, you know, transform and we are going to do translateY. It's minus font size multiplied by 1.1 multiplied by the number. And I'm doing minus here, so it's a negative value because I would like to translate it upwards. So if I hit save, you see now that we have the number 12,385, and we know exactly the position within this list, which is amazing. And now you say, oh yeah, but you know, when you're going to change the number, it's not going to animate. Well, here is where Moti comes into play. So instead of having this as a view, we can use a Moti view that's coming from Moti. And instead of using this transform here, we can just cut this transform and say, you know, this is an, let me import it. You say animate the translate y to be minus font size multiplied by 1.1 and the number. So now whenever I'm gonna change the number to 2, let's say, is going to update, and you're not going to see this animation because again I need to pass it as a prop. So let's pass this to the ticker. So I'll say, you know, value is going to be 1 2 3 4 5 6, and now add this into the state. So it's value, set value, and then a button titled on press is going to set some random number to import set state, and instead of the value we can pass the value. So now if we are going to press on this component, you see nothing is actually changing. And why is that? Well, let's go to the ticker. Remember where we actually have set this key to be the number index. Well, if you're going to change the number all the time, and basically if the number and the index differs, this entire component is going to be destroyed and throw away and then re-render it. And we don't want that. We want to keep the indexes, but keep that being rendered, but only change the props. So watch what's going to happen if I'm going to set the key as the index. Now the index is going to be the same, but the number is going to this ticker component is not going to be re-rendered. So it's just going to receive a new set of props. In this way, we are going to keep it rendered, but leave Moti to the rest of the heavy lifting, which is the animation or the animate of the translateY. So now if I hit random, which is great. So if I'm going to come back here and remove the background colors and add again the overflow hidden, you'll see that, yeah, everything is animated, you know. One thing that I would like to change, for example, is to be able to add a stagger. So right now, as you can see, everything is moving right away, but I would like to apply a small delay in between each individual vertical list animation. So to do so, we can add stagger or a delay based on the index. So this ticker component where we are rendering, we can pass the index, which is the place inside this current number, and of course extend that functionality to also receive the index, get the index here, and inside the Moti, I can say, you know, the transition, apply a delay of index multiplied by a stagger duration. So this stagger duration can come from a constant, which is 50. Now if I hit save and add a random value, you'll notice that the animation is going to start from left and wait just 50 milliseconds for each individual vertical row, which is great. I would like to also change the damping and the stiffness because, yeah, this springy effect, it's too hard for me. And come back here, so say damping 80, stiffness 200. And without denying, you see how everything is changing, you know, everything. We can also add like the ticker. Here, a ticker, we can add a font weight of 900, let's say, and it's going to make it even bolder, which is great. So I think overall this entire component looks way better. So if I go back to the app and I'll say, you know, the ticker font size is going to be 120. I notice that, wait, this is wrong. This is multi-line, and I would like to render it on a single line. And as a bonus for this tutorial, I would like to show you how I'm approaching this type of issue just by rendering something in addition to what we have already rendered and measure that text, how it's going to look like, and then apply the font size straight to the ticker itself. So first I would like to render basically this value as a sibling of this component of this ticker list, and I'll say, you know, this is the value. So style it as a ticker. Sorry, it's a tick, right? So we have this this number here, and now I notice that we don't have reusable styling. So for that, I can remove the style and apply this font size as a font size. So go to the tick itself, also receive the font size, text props, and font size. It's a number. And inside this text, I'll like to apply the styles as style, and then my styles. So in this way, I'm going to say, you know what, this tick component, so the tick is complaining because there is no font size specified. So the font size in our case is font size. So now we have basically the same reusable component with the same styles, which is great because we are going to reuse that. But notice that now it's again the same problem, right? And in React Native, you can apply two different properties to the text, and it's going to make it one-liner and it's going to adjust the font. So first is the number of lines. It's 1, but you know, it's going to trim it. And to avoid trimming it and just adjusting the font size, you have an adjustFontSizeToFit. And if I'm going to make it true, it's going to adjust the font size, right? As this prop suggests. And now you have an onTextLayout. And this onTextLayout is going to receive an event. And if inside the event, native event, you have the lines, we are going to take the first line and just console log it. And if we are going to open up the terminal, here you can see that we have an ascender. And this ascender is going to say the height of the letter or of the row. So this is what we are interested in getting. So basically, even though we have specified inside the application, hey, the font size is going to be 120. Well, because this 120 font size is not going to fit on a single line, this adjust this adjust font size to fit is going to recalculate what's going to be the font size or the new font size that's going to make this entire value fit on a single line. So now we have this, instead of 120, it's 108. So what we can do with it? Well, we can set state with it. So it's like new font size, set new font size. It's going to be state. That's going to start from the font size that you have specified as a prop. But in case this font size differs, we are going to apply it. So here, instead of console logging, we can say set new font size. We need to get the ascender. Now, great, we can also console log it. So text, font size, and new font size. So we have the prop, well, it's 120, but the calculated one, it's 108.05, whatever. And we, instead of sending this font size to the ticker list, we need to send the new font size. So in this way, we are going to ensure that this number will always fit no matter the value. Just to give you a quick example, I'll just add a random one. So I can say even bigger, right? So look, you see, now it's calculating again and again and again, which is fantastic. Last, I would like to quickly show you how you can quickly use internationalization just to format the number. Instead of just splitting the value, it's going to use the internationalization package. Int number, it's a new format the number. Currency is going to be, let's say, USD, and the style is going to be currency, right? And we can format the value. And instead of splitting this value, we can split the int number. So in this way, we are going to get some I don't know, dollar sign and the number with like everything it's formatted for us. Unfortunately, this is going to crash the application. And the reason being that we actually rely on the number as the index where to scroll inside that vertical list. And to avoid crashes, we can do some if statements where we actually render the ticker list. So instead of displaying a ticker list when there is no number, we can display directly a tick, otherwise display this ticker line. So I will just render this ticker list. So only when this number, it's actually a number. So I will say here, so if it's not a nan parse int, I'm going to display this ticker. Otherwise, I don't care. But now everything else just disappeared. And to fix that, we're going to say otherwise return a tick with the index. So now we have this beautiful dollar sign and a dot, and everything is formatted for us using this internationalization package. But notice we have this issue again with the calculated font size. The reason being is we use the value itself and not the formatted value. So instead of the value, let's apply the formatted value, and everything is going to be recalculated from a layout perspective. So now if we are going to say save, you know, this is looking really great. I would like to also apply a different styling for the non-numbers, and I'll say, you know, the opacity is going to be 0.3, let's say, or even more. So now the missing part is to hide this text element that we use to calculate the layout. So we can apply a style. I'll say, you know, is the position absolute. We're going to move it far away from the screen. So in this way, nobody is going to know that we use it just to calculate the layouts. And yeah, this is how it's going to look like. And we can also start with small numbers. So what font size it's actually saying is that, hey, this is the maximum font size that you can take, but if you don't fit, just go down and shrink in size. And yeah, with a small change here, you can create this beautiful ticker component. We can also divide it by 100 just to get some nice number afterwards. And yeah, this is how it's going to look like. That was it. I hope that you've enjoyed it. You've learned a couple of ticks, trips, techniques, and something new about React Native animations in general. If you wanna have access to more than 120 different animations, I highly suggest you animate reactnative.com. It's this platform where I'm sharing lots of different techniques. It's going to save you time, but it's also the perfect collection if you would like to learn more about React Native animations. Without other things, just hit the like, subscribe, press the ring bell notification just to be informed whenever I'm posting something new. Otherwise, see you in the next one. Peace.